Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Old Godzilla comics I've made in my childhood. It with your host, Killer Comics. So, if you see, I probably posted a picture of King Ghidorah, for this announcement page, and I think you know what to expect next. Uh, this is episode 2 of Old Godzilla comics, and one of my Godzilla comics I've made from my childhood was Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah, or otherwise known as Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, who is arguably Godzilla's most popular enemy, and definitely one of my favorites for sure. I mean, come on, he's like a three-headed golden dragon. Who wouldn't love him? So, quick update. So this is the second episode, and I kind of rethought my first episode. I think it did all right and all, but I kind of said to myself, no matter how well I kind of add stuff and like well, not as stuff, but like, how I made that updated dialogue, meaning I recently just wrote that like a script just to read off of to make it sound more epic. Yeah, I think I take my drawings and stuff very seriously, but in the end, this this stuff I made as a little kid, it's just inevitably gonna be cringe. It's just gonna be cringe and makes no sense whatsoever. So number one, I'm just not gonna script stuff unless I'm making a new cartoon, unless I'm actually making a new comic. Number two, I think I went a little too in depth with my uh remake art. I'm still gonna do the remake art because that's very fun for me. I'll I'll draw all day every day because I really do love drawing. And I know my stuff's made in like Microsoft Paint 3D, but I mean, my stuff may be in Paint 3D, but it's still I personally think like whatever you put in, whatever you like draw on the computer, it turns out better than what it would look like on paper. It actually, you could make a Picasso on paper and you put that stuff in Paint 3D, it'll look really good because you all got all the right tools. You don't need paper. You don't really need paper. You got all the tools right in front of you and you just go at it. So, and yes, the stuff I still make nowadays is still gonna look like something that belongs in a children's comic book. But I mean, that's just kind of my style, though. Cartoony, I'm more of a cartoonish style. So it's not like hyper realistic or anything, but it's just think of it, Bob's Burgers has its style, South Park has its style, Family Guy has its style, I have my style, and I love drawing, so that's just how I'm gonna draw. As long as I've as long as I improve. Yeah, the point of the remake art, the point of like showing off like new art, like basically updating art to what I've previously made throughout my childhood. It's kind of it's more or less to show off how much I've improved since then. So I'm just gonna keep my remake art really brief. I'll add little comments at the bottom. Instead of just getting in depth with it and just talking for like 5 minutes or so on each page, I'm just gonna do a before and after, like a before, like what I originally drew back in my childhood to now from what I've drawn today or very, very recently. So yeah, I'm just basically self-criticize. I'm just giving myself constructive feedback because I have not gotten a lot of views from my other video. I don't have a lot of views. So anybody who does see my videos and and like says to themselves, boy, he can really improve on this. Well, I'm giving myself the criticism. So that's just some things I can improve on, and I'm going to improve on it. Like I said, I take my drawing very, very seriously. So instead of the updated dialogue for my Godzilla cartoons, I'm just gonna go ahead and read off what I basically have. I'm not gonna read like the speech bubbles or anything. In fact, they're really hard to read, so we're just gonna review what I've drawn here. So this is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Can Godzilla win against a three-headed monster? And you can see King Ghidorah barely visible on top, zapping Godzilla. Will zap. So we just basically start with a boat out in the ocean, some sailor falling asleep, and then some splashing. He wakes up and he basically sees Godzilla. Yeah, I don't really, not a lot of build up, not too much build up here. I just jump into the action right away. So Godzilla's roaring, and he says, "Oh my gosh, it's Godzilla!" So going on to the next page here, and then he notices something else. Next slide with the freaking aardvark or anteater nose, freaking elephant trunk nose, splashing in the water. So some mist comes out or smoke. It takes formation, and I basically did it in like the style of the Showa Ghidorah, where he basically takes formation and then in the sky, and then he just appears. He knocks the boat and freaking flips the guy off. The guy freaking flips off his boat. And of course the boat splashes, and then Godzilla comes on shore, pushing a lighthouse for no reason. King Ghidorah with the left head having fangs. I think this is, in my opinion, I think this is probably the best. And this one side over here, where Godzilla's eyes and Ghidorah's eyes are invisible. That's basically where they're micro-sized. With Godzilla swooshing his tail in the lighthouse, that might be my best drawings of Godzilla and King Ghidorah in this entire like story here. I mean, I kind of like the way I drew King Ghidorah's heads, just three little noodles, and then Godzilla just roaring like Shaw figures with Godzilla having elephant legs. So then, okay, so there's like these scientists, these goofy ass Muppet looking scientists, um, just saying something must have came out of the ocean. It must have fought Godzilla, or it wants to fight Godzilla. I'm sorry, I misspeak a lot. And then Doctor Tohikeel. Wow, I got really creative with the names here. Saying he'll find some information for some reason. I don't even. What the hell was I talking about? I wasn't real good with dialogue. I just cared more about the action back then. I wasn't real focused on the dialogue. I was just more focused on the monsters beating the shit out of each other because that's what Godzilla's about. Crushing cities and just monsters going at it. So the female doctor says they have to get out of there, and the male doctor says, actually, I think they might be biologists. I don't know what they're working for necessarily. I was 7, so I didn't really know what I was talking about. The male doctor insists he'll find more information, and the female doctor tries to snap him out of it. And then Dr. Tohikeel says, "Oh." He just says, "Oh." So Godzilla coming ashore, King Ghidorah both of them ready to fight. So King Ghidorah kicks Godzilla, Godzilla falls back, Godzilla breathes his atomic breath, which looks like smoke. They're just sitting there, just Godzilla with his atomic breath and King Ghidorah's is lightning. Godzilla blasts King Ghidorah in the face, and wow, looking at the other two heads in the back, I mean, the middle head is obviously the best looking one. The other two heads in the back look goofy as hell. Then Godzilla just does a signature Showa Godzilla gloat. He makes fun of King Ghidorah for getting blasted in the face. King Ghidorah comes in and then swooshes Godzilla. Godzilla gets up and they roar. With the last slide being Godzilla, probably one of the most goofy ass, worst front facing monster views I've ever drawn. I mean, what is this? What is this? Why is he? I mean, just look at the way Godzilla front faces. Man, I'm so glad it didn't really focus. I'm glad it focused on Godzilla's side views and not front views. Yeah, because who am I kidding? I'm just I'm just gonna go off on my art. I'm just gonna go off by what I did back then because. Okay, so then bitch slap each other or something. King Ghidorah grabs Godzilla by the back, carries him like God Destroyer carried Godzilla Jr. in Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Just imagine King Ghidorah being able to pick Godzilla up with his feet. So the military basically is notified that King Ghidorah and Godzilla are coming. King Ghidorah makes it to Tokyo and he zaps the ground. He drops Godzilla in the ocean. Godzilla's angry and gets back up, and then he heads towards the city. He stomps on a car. Classic monster destruction. Gee, Godzilla, I think your knee's a little bit too low, don't you think? King Ghidorah zaps Godzilla once again, and then Godzilla pierces King Ghidorah's wings, which is a pretty smart move, so that way he can't fly. King Ghidorah looks more like Godzilla now because how thick his neck is, and just his head as well. He falls to the ground, crashing into a building or something. And apparently that gets rid of the power. And then Godzilla grabs his tail, and then King Ghidorah gets whooshed. And I must say, King Ghidorah, from those buildings, you have some pretty damn long horns. He crashes into a building, and then the finishing move is Godzilla breathes his atomic breath, and that really gets Ghidorah, and then King Ghidorah dies. Here, what I should have done was, instead of doing a human heart scale, I should have done a monster heart scale if they're like biologists. So then it goes down, assuming that probably represents King Ghidorah for some reason. So yada yada yada. My comics usually end with the monsters being defeated, or the enemy monster being defeated, and then saying, hey, everything's alright. The end. And that was Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Boy, did I just criticize the hell out of it. But now I'm about to show you some remake art using before and after comparisons, so please stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching my video, and like I said, please stay tuned for the remake art. I'll be back again with episode 3 pretty soon.